3 feet away. I was sitting on the floor because my desk chair broke 2 weeks earlier and I didn't have $40 to replace it. Laptop from 2019. Screen cracked in the top left corner. Trackpad didn't work, so I used a $12 mouse from a CVS. I had $214 in my bank account. Ramen for dinner. Same ramen for lunch. Same ramen for breakfast. My mom called earlier, asked if I was eating. I said yes. That was a lie. She asked if I needed money. I said no. That was another lie. I hung up and stared at the screen. Not studying. Not applying for jobs. Not doing anything a normal college kid does at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. I was building something. Didn't have a name yet. Didn't have customers. Didn't have a plan. Just an idea that wouldn't leave me alone. Here's the thing about ideas. Most people get them. In the shower. In the car. Right before falling asleep. They feel exciting for about 4 minutes. Then they fade. Then life takes over. Then the idea dies. This one didn't die. It got louder. So I sat on the floor of dorm 317 with a broken laptop and $214 and started typing. At 3:12 a.m., I had a prototype. Ugly. Slow. Barely functional. But it did one thing. It solved a problem I had been dealing with for 6 months. I won't tell you what the problem was yet. Not because it's a secret. Because the problem doesn't matter. The solution does. I showed the prototype to exactly one person. My roommate the next morning. He looked at it for 8 seconds. Said that's cool. Rolled over. Went back to sleep. That was the only feedback I got for 2 weeks. Any normal person would have taken the hint. Would have closed the laptop. Would have applied for internships. Would have gone to parties. Would have been a normal college kid. I am not a normal person. I kept typing. Week 2. Still no customers. Still no money. Still sitting on the floor. My back started hurting. Didn't care. I found a coffee shop off campus that let me sit for 4 hours if I bought one coffee. $2.75. I stretched that coffee like it was gold. Sipped it slow. Made it last. The barista started giving me weird looks. Not mean. Just curious. Like, why is this kid here every day with the same hoodie and the same cracked laptop? Her name was Sarah. I know because her name tag said Sarah. She never asked what I was working on. I never offered. But one day she put an extra muffin in my bag. Didn't say anything. Just did it. I ate that muffin like it was the last thing on earth. That's the part of the story no one tells you. The grind isn't glamorous. It's cold coffee and free muffins and a back that hurts from sitting on a floor. At week 4, I got my first user. Not a customer. A user. Someone who signed up for free because I emailed 37 people individually and begged. 37 emails. One response. That's a 2.7% conversion rate. Terrible by every metric. But that one person, they used the thing. They sent me feedback. 3 sentences. 1 typo. But they took the time. I screenshotted that email. Still have it. At week 6, I had 11 users. Still free. Still no money. Still sitting on the floor. But something changed. People were coming back. Not all of them. But some of them. Using the thing. Telling friends. Leaving comments. One user sent a message at 2 a.m. Said this saved me 3 hours of work. I read it 12 times. That's when I knew. Not because of the money. Because of the 2 a.m. message. Money is slow. Validation is instant. At week 8, I ran out of money. $214 turned into $47. Ramen supply, 2 packs. I remember counting them. Trying to figure out how to make 2 meals last 4 days. I didn't tell anyone. Not my mom. Not my roommate. Not Sarah the barista. Pride is expensive. I was paying full price. At 10:14 p.m. on a Thursday, I got an email. A company wanted to use my thing. Not for free. For money. $500 a month. I read the email 7 times. Then I cried. Not because of the money. Because someone believed in something I built on a floor with a broken laptop and a $12 mouse. I called my mom the next day. Told her I was okay. Told her I didn't need money. Told her I loved her. Didn't tell her about the $500. Didn't want to explain. Didn't want to say, I built a thing and someone paid for it. Because saying it out loud would make it real. And if it was real, I couldn't hide anymore. At week 10, I had 5 paying customers. $2,500 a month. More money than I had ever seen. I was still sitting on the floor. Still drinking $2.75 coffee. Still eating ramen. But something was different. I bought a new mouse. $25. Felt like a fortune. I also bought Sarah a muffin. Not because I liked her. Because she gave me one when I had nothing. And now I had something. She said, "You didn't have to." I said, "I know." That was the whole conversation. At month 4, I dropped out of school. Not dramatically. No big announcement. Just stopped going to classes. My parents found out when the dean called. My mom cried. My dad didn't say anything. That was worse. They asked what I was doing. I said, "Building a company." They asked for how long. I said, "I don't know." They asked if I had a backup plan. I said no. That was the truth. Any normal person would have stayed in school, would have finished the degree, would have had something to fall back on. I am not a normal person. I moved out of the dorm, not because I wanted to, because I couldn't afford it anymore. The $2,500 went to servers, to software, to keeping the thing alive. I slept on a friend's couch for 3 months. His name is Marcus. He never asked for rent, never asked when I was leaving. Just let me stay. One night, he came home at 2 a.m. I was still working. He looked at me and said, "You're different." I asked what he meant. He said, "You actually believe it." I didn't know how to respond, so I kept typing. At month 7, I had 50 customers, $25,000 a month. I moved out of Marcus's couch into a studio apartment, 400 square feet. No dishwasher, no laundry, but my own key. The first night, I sat on the floor. No furniture yet. Just me and the laptop and the $12 mouse. I didn't feel successful. I felt tired, but good tired. The kind of tired that comes from building something that shouldn't exist. At month 10, a company offered to buy me. Not my thing. Me. They wanted me to come work for them. Close the project. Take a salary. $180,000 a year. Benefits. A desk. A title. I said no. They asked why. I said because I'm not done. They said, "You're making less than that now." I said I know. They didn't understand. How could they? They saw money. I saw something else. I saw the floor of dorm 317. I saw the cracked laptop. I saw the $12 mouse. I saw Sarah's muffin. I saw Marcus's couch. You don't trade that for a desk. At month 14, I had 200 customers. $100,000 a month. $1.2 million a year. I was 20 years old. I bought a chair. Not a fancy one. Just a chair with a back that didn't hurt. $180. I sat in it for an hour the first day. Just sat there. Not working. Just sitting. Because for the first time in 14 months, I wasn't on the floor. At month 18, I had 500 customers. $250,000 a month. $3 million a year. I hired my first employee, a friend from high school named Derek. Paid him $60,000 a year. More than I was paying myself at the time. He asked why I was being generous. I said, because I remember having nothing. At month 22, I hit 1,000 customers. $500,000 a month. $6 million a year. That was the peak. I couldn't grow faster. Didn't have the team. Didn't have the infrastructure. Every month, $500,000 hit my account. Every month, I stared at it. $1 million in profit that year. Then 2. Then 3. I was 21 years old. No degree. No backup plan. No safety net. Just a thing I built on a floor that printed $500,000 every 30 days. I bought a car. Not a Lamborghini yet. A Honda. $28,000. Paid cash. My mom said, "That's sensible." I said thanks. At month 28, I got an offer. A company wanted to buy mine. Not for a salary. For real money. The offer was $73.6 million. I almost choked. I called a lawyer. Called an accountant. Spent 2 weeks doing nothing but reading papers. Then I signed. After taxes, after fees, after everything, $42 million landed in my bank account. I was 22 years old. I stared at the number for an hour. Then I did exactly what you would do. I bought a Lamborghini. Not a practical one. Not a sensible color. Bright fucking orange. $320,000. Paid cash. The salesman asked if I wanted to test drive it first. I said no. I drove it straight to a hotel in Miami. Penthouse suite. $8,500 a night. A view that made me feel like I had won. I called my mom. Told her I sold the company. Told her the number. She got quiet. Then she started crying. Not happy crying. Scared crying. She said, "That's too much money for a kid." I said, "I'm not a kid." She said, "You're 22. I hung up. Ordered champagne. Drank it alone. That night, I texted every person who had ever been nice to me. High school friends. Old roommates. Sarah the barista. Marcus the couch. Come to Miami. My treat. 8 people showed up. I rented a table at a club. $25,000 minimum spend. Bought bottles I couldn't pronounce. Girls appeared from nowhere, taking pictures, asking for drinks, asking for my number. One of them sat on my lap, whispered something in my ear. I didn't hear a word. I woke up at 4 p.m. the next day, alone. Penthouse trashed. Empty bottles everywhere. A girl's earring on the nightstand. Didn't remember her name. I checked my bank account. $41.2 million left. I had spent $800,000 in 36 hours. And I felt nothing. I bought my mom a house. $1.4 million. 4 bedrooms. A yard. A kitchen she cried in for 20 minutes. She asked when I was coming to visit. I said soon. That was a lie. I bought myself a penthouse in Miami. $3.2 million. Floor-to-ceiling windows. A pool on the roof. I threw a party the night I moved in. 200 people. Most of them strangers. DJ in the living room. Bottles on every surface. Someone broke a lamp. Someone threw up in the pool. Someone asked me for $10,000 like it was nothing. I gave it to her. At 3 a.m., I locked myself in the bathroom. Sat on the floor. Marble floors. Not dorm floors. Fancy floors. And I realized something. I had everything I ever wanted. And I had never been more alone. The next month is a blur. More parties. More bottles. More strangers. More mornings I didn't remember. Marcus came to visit. Stayed for 3 days. Left on the second day. Said he didn't recognize me anymore. I said, I'm the same person. He said, you're not. He was right. One night, I was sitting in my penthouse. Alone. Again. Lamborghini keys on the table. View of the ocean. Phone full of numbers I didn't care about. And I thought about dorm 317. About the floor. About the $12 mouse. About Sarah's muffin. That kid would hate me. That's when I made a decision. I didn't sell the Lamborghini. Because it's a Lamborghini. You don't sell a Lamborghini. Didn't sell the penthouse either. Kept it. Use it sometimes. Whatever. But I hired a financial advisor. Sat down with him for 4 hours. Went through everything. After all the stupid spending, I had $38.46 million left. He invested it. Smart. Diversified. Long term. The first year, it generated $3.32 million in cash. Just from sitting there. I decided to live off $1.5 million a year. Left the rest to reinvest. Here's what $1.5 million a year looks like. You don't think about bills. You fly first class. You tip $200 on a $400 meal because you remember what it felt like to need $200. But I didn't go back to the parties. I went home, moved in with my mom. She made me breakfast every morning. Burned the eggs sometimes. I didn't care. I ate them. We watched TV at night. She fell asleep on the couch at 9 p.m. I covered her with a blanket. That was my life for 6 months. The best 6 months since dorm 317. Then I called Sarah, the barista, the one with the name tag, the one who gave me a muffin when I had nothing. She answered, said, I heard you got rich. I said something like that. She said, are you still the weird kid who sits on floors? I said, yeah, kind of. She laughed. We went on a date. Coffee shop. $4.50 latte. She paid for hers. I paid for mine. We talked for 4 hours. I walked her to her car. Didn't kiss her. Just said, I'd like to see you again. She said, I know. 10th date, I realized something. I wasn't trying to impress her. I wasn't the guy with the Lamborghini or the penthouse or the $42 million. I was just the guy she gave a free muffin to. And that was enough. 6 months later, I sent Marcus $500,000. A gift. He called me. Didn't say anything for 30 seconds. Then he said, you didn't have to. I said, yes, I did. He said, I just let you sleep on my couch. I said, you let me believe in myself when I had nothing. He cried. I didn't tell anyone that part. Marcus used the money to start a small restaurant. His mom's recipes. It's doing well. I eat there every time I'm in town. I don't pay. He won't let me. Sarah and I got married 2 years later. Small wedding. Backyard at my mom's house. 50 people. Barbecue. No DJ. No bottles. No strangers. We have 4 kids now. 3 girls and a boy. The oldest is 8. She asked me last week what I do for work. I said nothing. She said, that's weird. I said, yeah, it is. The boy is 3. He tried to drive the Lamborghini once. Put his little hands on the steering wheel. Made engine noises. I didn't stop him. Sarah takes them to the beach on weekends. Not the fancy one. A quiet one. They build sandcastles. She sends me pictures. I save every single one. I'm worth $62 million now. 12 years later. Didn't do anything. Just let the money work. I still have the $12 mouse. It's in a drawer in my office, right next to a picture of dorm 317. I don't use it anymore, but I keep it, because every time I think I've made it, I look at that mouse, and I remember the floor. Life is good, not because of the money, because of who I have next to me. Sarah's in the kitchen right now, making dinner. The kids are doing homework. My mom is coming over in an hour. I'm going to eat, and laugh, and maybe fall asleep on the couch at 9 p.m., and someone will cover me with a blanket. That's the real win, not the $62 million. The blanket.